I'm Nate. I think everybody here has met me before, from Bremer and Flint. I have a biomedical engineering degree, and I've been helping build prosthetics since 2003. So that starts to add up. Those years, they add up quicker than what you think when you start doing that math. But you know, I love what I do. I love helping out everybody. I am a big advocate for people. I like to try to remove barriers and make sure that people can get access to the care that they need, the prosthetic technology that they need, without following necessarily insurance protocols and those things. We kind of bend the rules, push the limits, and fight for what everybody needs. And I love what I do, and I appreciate all you guys because of you guys here. You guys are the reason why I love what I do, so thanks.
My name is Scott Baranek. I'm the owner of the Saginaw office. Nate and I have the Lansing office, and then we're all partnered with Brian in at the Brighton office. But I am a certified prosthetist, and I'm also a left below the knee amputee. I lost my leg in a motorcycle accident, and really, that's the story of where I got started in prosthetics. It was about a year later I started working at an office, and I was doing marketing and doing some technical work, sweeping floors. Big advocate. I think sweeping floors actually does get you somewhere.
I think all three of us have spent our time behind a broom.
It takes 2 years to maximize what you can do on the prosthesis. What happens when we start this process is, on average, we're looking at least 2 months from the time you have your amputation, right, until the time that you get up walking again. So muscle atrophy, which is when you're not using those muscles, your muscles will atrophy 7 to 8% every week that you have of inactivity. So with 2 months, you're looking at least 8 weeks. I mean, oftentimes people are inactive on their legs because they have wounds that could be healing prior to healing. And it's not uncommon for people to take 3 months to heal instead of 2. So it varies with everyone. So a lot of this first year of the recovery process is we need to build that strength back. And what people don't realize is that strength, oftentimes people will say, well, I have a hard time keeping my balance. My balance isn't good. No, when your muscles are weak, you rely on your muscles, your quadriceps, to help balance. So we do certain exercises to help work those, and also sometimes those exercises we incorporate into how you might use those muscles on the prosthesis. So there's strength training exercise, and then there's strength and balance exercises. What we're going to demonstrate here today is something if you were to be fit with your test socket, and this is your first time at our office, this is what these exercises might be like if you were doing them in the office. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Brian. And
everybody here, if everybody wants to stand up.
Yep.
And then if you can kind of move maybe to the side of your chair, just so there's a little bit more room.
Gate belt on you?
Because you want some room.
Just for.
Ray, do you want a belt, or do you want to just do it?
No, this is the heel strikes.
Yeah.
Remember, you're just going to do the.
Yep.
So up here we have tape on the floor, basically fanned out. You guys don't have tape on the floor, but really what we're doing is we got 5 different spots, 1 directly in front, and if you can imagine 2 to each side. And so what we're going to do is, if you just stand there, you're going to get your balance on either leg right now, probably your sound side, and then we're doing heel strikes. So what you're going to do is, Don, you're just going to go to this first spot. Yep. Okay. And then you just drive your heel into the ground. Okay. So out to the side, drive it into the ground. The second spot, the third spot. Was I off counting? And then all the way across. Okay. And so this just gives you a good idea that your prosthetic foot is in contact with the ground, so that you can safely transition over it. So you can work across and then work back the other way.
I haven't done these in a while without toes. That's hard.
So we'll go back the other way. Good? Good.
What I want you to do when you're doing is go ahead and set. I want you to actually initiate flexion of that knee, so you're pushing.
And are you comfortable standing on your leg and doing the other side?
On the back wall. We'll see.
Doing this leg?
Yep.
You see how I'm. Okay. So, strike. Okay. What kind of knee do you have?
And then the heel strike, you can do the other leg too. It's not necessarily as important to focus on the heel strike, but if you're balancing on your prosthesis and doing your sound side, then you're working on balancing on the prosthesis also.
Can you get it to bend? transfer your weight more over to the prosthesis. Like load the toe. Like when I say to go set, just try to, load the toe now go to strike. Okay, that's good. Yeah, get this foot closer, like on the tape. There you go. So now, an advanced version of this that we could do, so we have the different numbers on there. So a big thing, so we're doing the heel strikes, right? And you can see we have a different number grid. So a lot of times we're talking about, now we're just doing the exercise, but we talked about balance and strength training. So if we do things where if you start striking and you start crossing over, this changes where our balance point is, doesn't it? And it also works on the control. So if I call different numbers out, so now I'll say set, 2. See, now that's different, isn't it? Yeah. So, but this is a more advanced version of what we're trying to do. So if I say strike 4, okay, well, let's do, just try. Like it goes as far as you can. If you make it, it doesn't, and I'm not going to let you fall, but strike 4. So it just, what isn't going to happen just happened. Okay. But see what we're doing there, and sometimes to progress on the prosthesis, we have to get a little bit out of our comfort zone, don't we? Right. I mean, that's really, and this is the nice thing, what we have here is we have a controlled environment where I could say to you, like what just happened, I got you. Okay. Right? You see, but remember the first time we went home? Like, and we had to go up and down stairs, or you maybe even didn't have a prosthesis, and we had to transfer. That was intimidating, wasn't it? Very. And I tell people, and I'm sure if you talk to but we're always telling them, it's like, hey, I've been where you are. As we get along this journey, and you've been wearing a prosthesis for 9 years, we can still push ourselves. I'll tell a story. I started doing triathlons a few years ago, and not because. A couple different reasons, but I thought, we see people, and if they lose a leg and they're going in that early part, they'd say, well, if he can do all that, then maybe my goals. I always talk about raising expectations for other amputees, okay? But one of the things I hated more than anything since I lost my leg was running. I'm not a small guy, so all that impact on my limb was a thing. But what I learned in that experience is, and if I've been wearing a leg for over 20 some odd years, and I can push myself and what I get out of that. So a lot of times, getting ourselves out of our comfort zone, this is the place to do it because we all kind of have each other's backs. It's like that drill where you say, hey, if I'm going to fall backwards, are you going to catch me? So, but yeah, you did it. You said it's not going to happen, and it happened. So, all right, so let's try a couple more. 1. Okay. 3. Do you feel those muscles working? When you pull back, okay, good. See, and that's what it really is. It's not so much about not being able to get there, but just working those different, because now your range of motion is changing, but you can see how we're getting more of a stretch, we're getting more of a work. 2. Set. You don't necessarily have to go towards the number, just anywhere on the line. 4. Okay. So now when you get there, if you can get and just hold, try to keep your balance. So let's work on that one just a little bit. 4. Good. So see, but the time more control. 1. All right. Good. So do you want to switch up? Does anybody else want to try the grid? Yeah, he's like, all right. So, thank you. So, I can reach. I just got to get to your waist. Are you out of here? All right, thanks. We'll see you. Okay. Everybody say goodbye to Brian. Bye, Brian. I do have one other announcement to make. Brianna's my daughter. She thought I didn't say anything about that before because I was embarrassed, so since I got called out on it, everybody say hi to Brianna. I hope I made that a little awkward. Yeah. 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 Well, she is going to be going through and maybe asking people like one-on-one and stuff. So the yeah. Brianna and Bill are revamping the website, but we have like more activity like Facebook pages and things like that. So a lot of the community awareness stuff that they're doing, they're handling that for us. So we do appreciate it. All right. So you're going to get your good leg you want right here in the center. Yep. So and then you're going to put the other leg behind you, the prosthesis. There you go. So now if I say, so we'll just start out with the number 1 so I'll go set, and that's when you put the leg behind you or the prosthesis behind you. Let me get to this side so I'm not crowding everybody. And then when we say strike, then you just hit the first bar, okay? So strike. So everybody pay attention. When we do this, remember, this is a strength training drill, so I don't want you to do like you were taking a step. I want you to exaggerate this, because what the purpose of this is, so if you're an above-the-knee amputee, I want to see that knee flex. We don't want to just lift it up and come here. We want to push on the front wall of that socket. So the reason the leg's behind you is so you can load that toe, and then we drive that forward. But at some point, okay, to strike down, you need to switch your energy so you're pushing on the back wall of that socket, and I want to see that snap down. See, you have to really exaggerate those extensor muscles to get that, and I want you to feel it.
I often like to say, envision that your heel is a hammer and the ground is the nail.
Yep.
And that you're trying to take that heel and you're trying to use that hammer and drive that nail right down into the board.
So if I see you do a good one, I'm going to say harder. The idea is yeah. So yeah, we really want you to drive that down so you feel those muscles. We're trying to exaggerate. We're trying to work those muscles. A lot of what we're doing here with Step Up is we're trying to make sure you're using the proper muscle groups to walk, okay? One of the things that drives me nuts is you hear people in the medical community, they'll say, oh, you lost a leg? Technology's come a long way. You're going to do great. Everyone here has been wearing a prosthetic limb for a while. These things do not walk themselves. I don't care how good your foot is. I don't care how good your knee is, okay? If you're not using the right muscle groups, you're not, and there's a difference between, a lot of times people will see amputees walk and they may have a gait where they're just kind of going like this. What are you doing? We've got that knee out so that it's an extension because we don't want the knee to buckle and you're using the prosthesis like a crutch. So the muscles that we do, it's a breakdown so you can understand how those muscle groups work, and then you can use them to maximize what you can do on the prosthetic limb, okay? So set and strike.
Which one?
Yeah.
One still?
Yep, yeah, just one for now. So I want you to watch how mine looks. There you go, perfect. Yeah, below the knee amputees should be able to really drive that down because we don't have to work that prosthetic knee. Go ahead, go. Perfect, set. So if you do like 10 of these, you might feel those muscles. Like where you really want to feel it is back here. Do you feel that when you initiate those muscles? Perfect. Okay, let's do 8 more then. Set, strike. Set, strike. Set, strike. Set, strike. How many is that? 6?
I thought you were going.
Set, strike. You know what my basketball coach would say? Then he'd say, okay, 2, 3. He'd always go like way underneath. Set, strike. Set, strike. Okay, that was 9. Set, strike. Okay, so that's 10. So how do you feel those? You feel those muscles working? So if you're doing this and you feel those muscles working, okay, what I want you to do is if you're going to do these at home, sets of 10 are good. If you can't do 10, a set of 8 is good. We want to get to a point where I asked Dave, could you feel that? He says, yeah, I feel those muscles working. If you feel it after 6, and you need a little bit of a break, that's fine, because what I want you to do is we want to do them in sets. So if you could do like 3 sets of 10, would probably be good for you, Dave. Or 3 sets of 6 might be good for somebody else. It doesn't matter what your number is. What matters is how the muscles are responding and that you feel that you're getting something out of it. What happens if you maybe starting out with 3 sets of 6? If a month later you're doing 4 sets of 10, we can now measure our improvement, and that's important as well. When you can feel your muscles getting stronger, that's what really encourages us to try to push ourselves and to do more exercise. As human beings, we like to see rewards for the work that we put into it and progress. And a lot of times, I'll get patients in the office, they say, well, I really don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. When you do exercises like this, you can see, oh, wow, I couldn't have done that 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So it kind of encourages us to do more of this on our own. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go, you see the number grid? So I'll say set, and this time instead of saying strike, I'm going to call a number out, okay? So set.
Strike it just like we did that.
Strike whatever number. Yeah, it doesn't, not on the number, but on the line. Anywhere on the line is good. So set 3. Okay. Try to hold it there till I say set again. Because if you want to come down, right, and you can hold that balance, like when you first start, it might be a lot like this, okay? But as you get more control, you might find I'm using now the weight that I'm pushing down here to help balance myself. Does that make sense? Yeah. So set 3. Good. Set 2. Set 4. Set 3. Set 1. Set 3. Okay, good. All right, what were you? Time to move on. All right. Okay, let's give ourselves a hand for the first set of. So that is officially our first set of exercises that we've done since we're back to doing step up. But, yep. Yeah. No, keep it on. We're going to use you for the next. Yeah, you're here.
So then what we're going to do now is work on the other side. Yep, so you're going to be, it's almost like the same exercise, except you're going to be, so these exercises are called pull-throughs. And so it's very similar to the exercise you just did, but this time you're going to be keeping your weight on your prosthetic side.
So you're going to start with the heel down.
Yep, you're going to start, so
this is my
with your prosthetic
sound
just
limb.
a little bit in front and your sound leg just a little bit behind. If you're bilateral, it doesn't matter. You've done both exercises already. And then what we're going to do is we're not going to focus so much on the hard hit of the ground. We're going to focus on using the muscles in the back of the leg that has the prosthesis in it to pull ourselves up through. That's why they're called pull-throughs. And then we're going to come back to the toe and then pull through.
So when we did the heel strikes, we're using those extensors, right? We're pulling back here. So you're taking off where you left off. Now the heel's already on the ground, but imagine you've already struck it there, and you're just going to pull yourself through. But here's the catch. You're not supposed to push off on your sound leg. So I don't want to see this. You're going to literally, and this is tougher if you do it like this, pull yourself onto the prosthesis and come forward, okay? So yeah, it's not about striking the sound limb like Nate said. It's about using the prosthesis to pull your weight through, okay? So go ahead, just start with the heel forward. There you go. And now, without pushing off on the other side, pull through and take a step. Does that feel really exaggerated on those same muscles you were using to do the heel strike?
Yeah.
Like back here? Yeah. It's what it should feel like a very exaggerated. Yeah. Now try, get your other leg behind you more. There you go. And just start with the heel like that. There you go. Because remember, you're taking off from heel strike. Come forward with the good leg a little bit more. Yep, there you go. Now get up on your heel. Okay. Now pull without pushing off the other side. Pull. Okay, good. But see, those are muscles you should be using.
Yeah, because you told
So,
me about that.
right, so when we walk, that's where you stabilize this whole part of your core, okay?
I always use them too. I can really
Yep.
pull them.
But yeah, just start with it like this. Your feet down. Now just pull. Perfect. How is it, Ed? Do you feel those muscles? Okay, perfect. Okay, pull. I did the example of oftentimes when we see a gait on amputees, it's like this. Everyone agree with that? So when you're walking, and you pointed to yourself, so you're going to be the next one that I'm going to use when we get into the walking and taking steps. Because what people don't realize, when you're taking steps and you fire these extensors, there's something that happens here. We have stabilizer muscles that come up through our leg and through our core, and when this is engaged, this doesn't happen anymore. When these muscles are tight and you pull through, your core is engaged now. And that gets this, that little wiggle that I mean, little hitch in your giddy up, so to speak. That's the key to getting rid of that. This is when we pull through, that engages. And when I was running, I was just talking about how I did that. I noticed Nate and I refer to running, because he spent a lot of time with me, as the most dynamic form of human ambulation, okay? So when I walk and we would do these step-up things, I'm noticing, I can engage my core, no big deal. I start running long distances, and all of a sudden I'm looking at videos of me, and I'm doing this again. And I'm saying, so I'm on the treadmill, and I'm doing different things, and I'm running, and I'm like, I'm engaging my extensors as hard as I can and everything else, and I'm finding out even when you sometimes fire that calf muscle, we learned a lot about how that works, and so it's important to really engage those muscle groups to stabilize that core, okay? So if you really focus on that, then what I want you to feel like, okay, if I feel these muscles engaged, do I feel like I'm locking in here? Because the first part of really understanding how to improve your gait is when you can feel those muscles working and then identify what those muscles are doing, it changes, because then you can turn it on and off and you can really work on it and build from it. So, all right? Could you feel that? But that's a big thing that I was just saying. Identifying the muscles and how they work is the first key to really changing how we walk.
For me, the reason why I don't do it is because in my mind I'm like, I just want to get A to B and move until I get there.
Sure.
And then I would be hurting my back and my tired more,
Right.
more faster, and I just couldn't use no more.
Right.
Because I used to know
Right.
conducting or not using it.
So I said something earlier, and I'm going to share a story with everybody, because I said you can turn it on and off.
Yeah, you can.
And people would think, why would you want to do that if you can walk? Well, if you haven't used those extensor muscles in how many years? And when I was in physical therapy, my physical therapist, Al, would say, Scott, you got to do this, and you got to fire this muscle and do all these other things. And I would look at him, I'm a 23-year-old kid, 24 years old. I'm like, I don't have a foot. Like, what you're asking me to, it doesn't, and I would get so frustrated. Or he'd say, you need to transfer your weight, or you need to pull here. And then what people don't understand is, in my mind, I feel like I'm doing that. If you're telling me I'm not transferring enough weight to the prosthetic side, and I'm like this, we try to change the language. It's like, well, this might feel exaggerated, but this is where you need to be. The first time when I started working in prosthetics, where I was walking down the hall and it was at the VA, and all of a sudden I started engaging that muscle, and it changed how I walked immediately. And that's why I would tell the story. And I was talking to some physical therapists at a nursing home, and I said, from that moment there, I could turn it on and off whenever I wanted. And the therapist said to me, well, why would you want to turn it off? And at that point, I was like 14 months post-operative. I said, because I hadn't used those muscles in 14 months, and literally my butt was killing me. But the thing is, so as you do that, yeah, you may get tired, or you think it's not a quicker way to get from point A to point B, but if you focus on, it's like training any other muscle group. The more you do it, the more you will build muscle strength and endurance. And when in rearranging habits, but a lot of habits is getting those muscles strong enough so that they can do it. And believe it or not, you'll have less back pain because you'll be walking more efficiently. Do you realize how inefficient that is and how you're laboring? Right. So yeah. And I'm glad you said that. Like, well, I could turn it on and off, but then I'd be tired. And fatigue is the reason, and that's a normal thing. That doesn't mean you're losing. That means you're winning. Because the more you're fatiguing, if you keep doing what you're doing and you push yourself every day to go just that little bit more, you're going to build endurance. Here's the beautiful thing we talked about the muscle atrophy. Your body can rejuvenate muscle tissue up to 100%. I think it's up till age 73 years old. See, I think I know I got a couple months in me left to do it. But I mean, and here's the thing, at that number it starts to dip, but I mean at 70, that means in your 80s, 90s, we can still rejuvenate muscle tissue. So, and that's the whole purpose of what we're trying to do here. So, all right, yes.
I found too when I was doing is that Nate said put a mirror on the end of your hallway door and watch yourself walk.
Yep.
Because I couldn't see myself when I was starting how I looked when I was walking. But if I walked to the mirror, I could actually see it and straighten it up.
Yep. And you almost have to, because like what people, I remember with therapy, and I took so much of my personal physical, because I remember, Alice saying, and I do this in my office all the time, transfer to the prosthetic side or center that, well, I am, and the prosthesis, but here's the other thing. If you've stood on a walker, we were talking about the amount of time, for 4 months before you get a prosthesis, what do we have to do? We have to shift our whole center of weight to balance ourselves. This is not a natural way for us to stand. Naturally, we're like this with our legs transferred over both sides. 4 months, we're talking about habits, and we've got to erase that. So it's like, what I tell people is like, well, when you transfer over to this side, and we'll literally push on their hips, and you're like forcing them, and they're pushing back against you, but it's like, it should feel exaggerated to you. Like what we're asking you to do doesn't feel natural, even though it is, because we're trying to recorrect those habits. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, or that's why when I say exaggerated, so you're telling your brain what your sense of normal is, we're trying to go beyond that or take it a little step further, so. Okay, so moving on. Are you our next demo too?
So we're gonna keep
break?
moving along here,
Okay.
and we're gonna go into maybe the next level of advancement with the heel strikes and the pull throughs, and that's gonna be toe touches.
Yeah, if you want to just follow what he does.
And so what we want to do for this exercise is we want to.
Do you want to start with the sound leg or the prosthesis first?
Whatever's more comfortable. It
start with
doesn't
the
matter.
sound leg
We're gonna
and
do
then-
both sides, and everybody's gonna get a chance. We'll go around the room with the cones.
Yeah, lift the prosthesis first.
So.
Yeah,
Coming
we
up your
have
way?
spotters here.
Right. Yeah.
So what we're doing first is you're taking the sound limb, and then we're going like this. And we mentioned in Step Up, it's as important, and we like to incorporate muscles to work the sound limb as well as the prosthetic side, because we need all of our muscles to be firing efficiently. So Dave is just going to say, so I'll say set, and then touch.
So one thing that I want to make a point of. Nope, you're gonna do this.
You're going to use the prosthesis
You're gonna use this
first.
leg. So what you're gonna do is you want to make sure when you come through here, the idea is to do a tap. You're just trying to tap. So you're staying on that side for a long time. And the idea is a nice controlled tap and then back down. So I got you right here. There you go. Good. Get as slow as you can. As slow as you can. If you need to move, take a step closer. Take a little step closer. There you go. Nice and slow. Good. Nice. That was a good one. There. Feel how much that uses all these muscles here? Right. There you go.
We're talking about for training somebody to walk. So when you if you watch me walk, right? How much time am I going to spend on the prosthetic side? 1/1000, like just less than a second, right? So we might have somebody stand in the parallel bars on a test socket, and I say, just kind of lift your leg up so you're balancing on the prosthetic side. So by exaggerating that so that you can have your weight there for like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, then it's when people are a little hesitant to take that step because they don't want all the weight there, and it's like they've already been training themselves to transfer their weight to the prosthetic side. So now if we switch to this side here and I say, now lift your sound leg and touch the cone. So instead of, you don't want to rush it to do it, right? You're going nice and slow and controlled. So set and then touch. Now that's really working out that limb, isn't it? Yeah. Set, touch. Set, touch. So now, if we wanted to make it a little trickier, narrow your gait. Bring the prosthesis in a little bit more. There you go. So now, touch. That a little different? Yeah. Touch. Okay. Touch. But what these muscle groups are good for is how quickly we fire the muscles inside of the prosthetic socket. Like, do you feel your muscles firing for balance? So we'll talk about strength training, but a lot of times when you get into advanced gait training and therapy, they're not talking about how quickly you need to fire those muscles in the socket to fight for that balance. And then there's a whole different set of exercises we do for that stuff. But all these things help when you're working that balance. And like we talked about earlier, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Like that's something that, you know, you might not do it. But if you work on that, you'll be surprised how good you can improve your balance. All right. Anybody else want to come up here and give it a try? Yeah. All right, thanks, Dave. So did you hear what I was saying to him? How quickly you're firing those and contracting those muscles inside of the socket. That's really the key. Like a lot of times the focus is on strength, but because we're less than that 1%, people don't really realize it's how quickly we can contract those muscles or go from the front wall of the socket to the back wall of the socket. That's where balance really comes from. So that's where we're trying to build towards here. Up. You got, sweet, thanks. Okay, so we'll start out first by you're just going to stand on your sound limb. You're going to lift the prosthesis up and just touch the cone, okay? So, ready? Go. It's okay. Normally I would like to have lower cones, but this is all I had in the office. Good? All right, go. Good. And see what he's doing? He's doing it nice and controlled. He's not in a hurry to try to just get there and touch the cone or knock things over. And the idea is to exaggerate the time that you spend balancing on that other limb, okay? So, go. Nice. So, again, like the other stuff, try to find a number that feels good, and we'll do a set of, like, say, 5 or 6. Does that sound good? Okay. All right, we'll do 6. You got 3 down. So, ready? Go. Okay. 2 more. All right. And go. So now do your good leg, Scott. Yeah. He doesn't have a cheater side.
He already was.
Yeah.
Just because he has 2 prosthetics doesn't mean there's not a good one and a bad one, right?
Okay, so now you're going to balance on the prosthesis and lift up and put your other leg just the same way. I got you. Remember before? Yeah. So you're going nowhere. So set, and when you want to break before you go, tell me when you're ready. Okay, that's okay. What you want to focus on is try to get a little slower and more controlled every time you do it, okay? So set, and I'll just say go, and then you go when you're ready, okay? Go. So if I help stabilize you a little bit, that'll get you working those muscles, and then we kind of get maybe a more side assist. So ready? Go. Do you feel all those muscles firing in the side? Yeah. And what we're going to do later, we're not going to get into this today, but we're actually going to teach you which part of your socket you can push in to help that balance. So you'll actually be able to control that a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll build back to this exercise and actually training this exercise as we go.
Yep. Okay, ready? Touch. Okay.
Did anybody not get to try that wants to do it?
All right, one more. And touch. Okay. All right. Yeah. You can do 5 more if you want. Is that good, or you want to do one more? You're good? All right. Yeah,
Good job, everybody. Everybody, that's a hard one.
But that's what we want. Because that's the muscles working. The muscles that you're not normally using, you're using, and that's what we're talking about, waking those muscles up and identifying those muscle groups. And it changes. It's a game changer.
Yeah, sometimes it develops a cramp. I'll be like, oh.
And that happens too.
Yeah.
No, it does. Remember Larry? Chris, he said, I feel like you're going to get a cramp. And I said, remember Larry? We had somebody get a cramp really bad where we thought, but
Okay, so
So-
now we got to get Therabands for everybody.
I want to do one thing before we do that. Ray, come on up, if you don't mind. And this will be quick. Donuts are after. But so we were talking about like if you were starting out in the office and like why we're doing the heel strikes and the pullovers. So what I want you to do, like with using your cane, but I want you to just kind of take a step like you were doing a heel strike and then do a pullover. But you know how you said you could feel those? And then try to do that and then just see if you can engage those stabilizers and kind of feel that with your core as you're walking. Okay? So just like you were doing the exercise, exaggerate it and pull through. How's that feel? So it just like right away. I mean, we can do that in the office and actually change like with seasoned amputees. But now that you can identify those, I mean, and as soon I could tell you took the first couple steps and all of a sudden your cadence picked up. Yeah.
My confidence picked up on this side.
Yep. Okay, good. Yep. Perfect. So, thank you.
So everybody's getting Therabands now, passed out.
Okay.
Yep. So we're going to do, I mean, people probably remember these exercises. We call them Steamboats. They're the 3-direction hip flexion. They're the ones that everybody hates. Everybody hates them because no matter what, I don't care how much you lift, isolating these muscles, it's going to burn.
Why do I get
It's
black?
going to burn. Yeah. So
He should get the same color as me.
So
He's
we're going
a
to do
two-legger.
3 directions to the outside, to the front, and to the back. Now to the back is going to be a very small movement. We don't want the back isn't like this. This isn't what we're looking for. We're looking to be able to stand up straight and just do a tiny little movement. A lot of times I like to tell people, if you're doing this, hopefully you have cupboards in your kitchen that come right up to the counter, and then stand up next to the counter, because if you're doing it wrong, you won't do it very many times because you're going to be hitting your head. So stand up straight and stay up straight. It's a really small movement.
Should we have everybody get with a partner? And then maybe
Yeah.
you could just create a loop, like maybe we'll demonstrate you and I, and then how.
And because the idea, when we put these on, so it's going to be a little bit easier for people that are below the knee, obviously, because it's just the way that it is.
Well,
For below the knee, we're going to want it at
you're
a
going to
point
want it where your
here.
socket is. You
At
don't
a point
want it
just below your knees. Don't put it below the cut end of your bone on there. If you put it below the cut end of your bone, what it's going to do is it's going to pull the prosthesis, and it's just going to cause bad pressures inside your socket. So we really want this band to be kind of up around your knee. Now, for those of you who are above the knee, especially for when we're going to be doing the ones like the forward, if you can't go forward like this, or else your knee's going to bend, right? So we got to be up on the socket, up above our knees, unless you can lock your knee. Yep.
But yeah, if you can get like the very bottom part of the socket, or like Chris said, if you can lock your knee, get around the knee.
And so what we're going to be doing is going to the outside, going forward, and then going to the back. And everyone is going to do this exercise on both sides. So then we're going to switch it around. If this one, guys, this is not necessarily intended to be a balance exercise either. So if you're more comfortable coming up to a wall, finding a spot that
I think we'll get more out of it.
you're going to get more. This is not intended to be a balance exercise. So I suggest coming up to a wall.
So we want everyone to support themselves on
right,
something.
on something, yeah.
Because this isn't a balance. This is about focusing on the muscle
next, Ray.
groups. I was
Right.
going to say
It's pretty sturdy. Don, why don't you
What's
switch to the
that?
pillar there?
So we're going to go out first.
Switch to
okay.
the post there. There you go. That's better.
So these are your abductor muscles. Like, you got that? So if you
So what I want everybody to
you
do
want
is
to work
to do
the
5 to
prosthetic side,
10
so face me.
in each direction.
So if you go out, right, now you're really working these outer muscles. See that? So now this is important. A lot of times you'll see this. So we're really focused on how much we're using the muscles to go out, but you want to do a controlled bringing it. Don't let it go out and then snap back in like this, because you're working the opposing muscle when you control it to bring it back in, okay? So we'll go, yep, stand up tall. We don't want to spend. So we'll go out together, hold, and in together. Out together, hold, and in together. Out together, hold, in together. All right, 5 more. Out together, hold, and in. Out together, hold, in. Out together, hold, in. Everybody feel those? All right, out together, hold, and in. That's 8, right? So now we're going to go forward with these, okay? So now we're just going to we're standing here, everybody brace themselves, and we're going to go, I'll do an example first, and then we'll do them together. So we're going to go forward, hold, and down, okay? Everybody ready? Let's hear some enthusiasm. Everybody ready? All right, let's go. Ready? Forward, hold, and down. Forward, hold, and down. Forward, hold, and down. That's 3. Let's count them off. Forward, hold, 4. Forward, hold, 5. Forward, hold, 6. Forward, hold, 7. If I can't hear you counting, we're going to do more. Forward, hold, 8. There we go. That sounds like an enthusiastic bunch. You can ask my daughters when I coach basketball. I will make you do the more, won't I? All right. So now we're going to go back. I'll do the example. Go back, hold, and count. Okay? Everybody ready? Yes? All right. Back, hold, 1. Back, hold, 2. Back, hold, 3. Back, hold, 4. Back, hold, 5. Back, hold, 6. Back, hold, 7. Back, hold, 8. All right. Good job. So now another variation of things that you can do with Therabands. I don't know if
We want to turn around and do the other side.
Oh.
Everybody's got to do the other side. Yeah.
Oh, you mean the good legs?
Yeah, but we got to do both
If
sides.
we're doing it? Well,
right?
okay. My bad. I got ahead of us.
That's just the way it goes.
All right, you count us off then, Nate.
All right. We're going to go to the outside. 1. Hold. In.
1.
Out. Hold. 2.
2.
Out. Hold. 3. Out. Hold. 4. Out. Hold. 5. Out. Hold. 6. Out. Hold. 7.
8.
Out. Hold. 8.
8.
Okay, now forward. Up. Hold. 1.
1.
Up. Hold. 2.
2.
Up. Hold. 3.
3.
Up. Hold.
4.
Up. Hold. 5. Up. Hold. 6. Up. Hold. 7. One more. Up. Hold. 8. Okay, good. Now we're going to go back.
How far are we going back?
So we're not going to go back very far.
Way back.
Scott says way back. I say as far back as you can go without leaning forward. So up, back, hold.
1.
1. Back, hold. 2.
2.
Back, hold. 3.
3.
Back, hold. 4. Back, hold.
5.
Back, hold.
6.
Back, hold. 7. And back, hold. 8. Good job.
So I think we
Good.
can do side
So
by
everybody's pretty burned out, right?
Everybody
That's
feeling
a lot.
that?
We're not taking the bands off just yet. We have a little bit more to do.
So we do side
with
by
the bands.
side, then
So
group.
yep. So there's two different variations of things that we're going to do here. We can either do side steps, which again, when you pick up the other side, it's about nice and controlled coming in. 1, 2. So you see it's fast with the lead leg, nice and slow with the back leg.
See what we're doing here?
Fast
Watch
with
the
the
opposing
lead leg,
side.
nice and slow. We're going to do about 5 of these in each direction. We're not going to do as many. Then the more advanced variation of that is called the monster walk, which comes with your feet kind of
So
staying a little bit farther
Start with
than
one in front. Yep.
Yep. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come in, across, and out. In, across, and out. In, across, and out. So this was the more advanced version. So you don't have to do both. Just pick which one you'd like to do, and we'll do one or the other. Again, the side steps, there's a lot there. This is plenty. So when I say advanced, it's not that this is easy. There's a lot here.
I know I'm feeling it in my stump after doing the monster walk. So.
Right. So out, Dawn, out wide with it. There you go. So you want to keep it wide. You want to step. You want to walk like this. So your feet go out past. So if you can't keep your feet out wide, what I want you to do is I just want you to go to the side then. I just want you to do these ones. Okay. Let's keep doing those. What's that? You could. Those are hard. You feel how? And I want you to. What I want you to do is I want you to think about. Okay. You're catching on the floor? Okay. When you do that side step, I want you to do a big one, and I want you to really focus on the back leg going. How slow can you get that to go? So the front leg can go fast. Now, how slow can you get this one to go towards it? That's the hard part. That's why I really want you to focus on how slow can you get it. Good. Good. See how much. That's where the exercise is. You really start to. No, don't do too many more. That's fine. You guys have all gotten a good workout already, and we got.
You just want to see
Monster
me do a
runs? You just
face
wanna see
plant,
him
obviously.
fall?
Yeah,
Like, I
that's
don't
what
wanna
I'm
see him
saying.
fall.
Chris is doing something though, Nate. Check this out. He's talking about just doing a
Uh-huh.
regular walk,
Yep.
especially like an intermediary
No,
for
right,
monster
no,
walk.
that's a good- yeah, right.
Because he said 2 for him.
That's for your pelvic control, right? You do that
Yeah.
for your pelvis.
And
yeah.
with it being lower, with him being above the knee
Right.
amputee,
right.
but that might be a good adapt one for
That's advanced for above the knee.
big. That's what I'm
It's big
saying.
time advanced,
Because
right.
the lever arm's so different.
What I try to do is, start off slow,
Right.
but then just try to keep a normal gait.
But it's almost like the slower it is, the harder it is
Oh,
because
for
you're
sure.
working that resistance.
All right. So as you guys can all tell, we've been building up a little bit. Every exercise we've done has been a little bit tougher than the one before it. The last one we have is squats. And everybody hears squats. And what do we think? Oh, I see Andrew's eyes.
Time to get the power bars out.
Now here's the thing. How many of us
want
sit
me to-
how many of
you
us
want
sit in
me
a
to-
chair? How many of us sit in a chair during the day? Yep, right? How many of us sit in a chair during the day? Everybody sits down at some point, right? We all sit down in a chair. Do we all stand up from the chair? So we all do squats every single day. This is a squat right here. That's a squat. That's a squat. Every time we sit down, we use our quadriceps to slow ourselves down. We don't just, I mean, sometimes at the end of the day, we like to fall into the couch, but that's a different thing. We're going to be a little more controlled, but we make ourselves a nice slow descent to the chair. Now we have to stand up. So what do? We do the top part of a squat. So one good adaptation for squats is called a chair squat. It makes it really easy to do in your home. It makes it safe, even if you don't have somebody around. Get a chair. I like to say get something like the sink. So then you have the sink there that you can hold on to, so you can just practice lowering, standing back up, lowering yourself down, standing back up. At some point, you won't need the sink, or you won't need the chair. Now, Scott can show you some adaptations on squats that don't involve the chair for more advanced, for people that are below the knee amputees.
So I will say this too, if you're above the knee amputee and you're not comfortable going that far, that range of motion is a lot different, and you're just going even this far, okay? Right. You're working you're identifying, again, remember, we want to start out by thinking about what we're doing, and the idea is identify the muscle groups, and it's those extensors here, and we're flexing, and if you're pushing, and then so what is the goal we measure our accomplishments against? Ourselves. Remember, we want to try to say, are we getting better? And if you feel you're going down a little bit further, maybe the following week, all of a sudden, we're breaking into new territory, gaining confidence because we're doing something that we couldn't do a week ago. So one of the biggest things when it comes to squats, if you're below the knee amputee like myself, and you could picture that I had a socket there. If I just go down, like, we're used to squatting in high school, right? And you got the bars here. What happens when we go down? I don't have an ankle, so we're up on the toe. I'm pressing on the front wall of the socket down here. I'm digging into the back wall here. This is all very uncomfortable. It's very unsafe because I don't have good balance. I don't have good balance because my foot's not flat on the floor. So by simply turning our feet out like this, look at how this is. So if you're below the knee, try standing like this. Kind of like a plie position.
So an exaggeratedly wide base.
Now when I go down, my residual limb is straight up and down inside of the socket. I've got no forces working against me, and my foot's still flat on the ground, okay? So I always tell people, adapting how we can do certain exercise. I mean, what have we done since we've lost our legs? We've adapted. So we try, and we're always taking feedback. Chris was just showing me a way that he was doing the monster walk exercises. We're always looking for feedback too. So anyway, to go into the chair here, or maybe a more advanced, if you want to get to the point where we're doing really good and you just have like a ball, like a little weighted ball or something, but you come down. But you can see the big thing is my feet are nice and flat on the floor, and I'm getting a good squat going here.
So, I mean, a key to a good squat is driving through your heels. So what Scott's doing is he's putting the prosthesis in a position where instead of rising up on the toe, he's able to drive through the heel of the prosthesis.
Okay. Any questions?
So what we're going to do is we're going to say anybody that wants to try that, especially with the chair, we don't want you to do that in the rolling chairs. So if we can just have you come over here, we would appreciate it. We don't think the rolling chairs are safe for squats. Does anybody want to give it a shot? All right. This is something that everybody can do. Everybody can do this.
Have I ever showed you how to do the squats with your feet turned out like that? Okay. I want you to try that then and tell me try it normal first.
Yeah, that looked good.
Yeah. Back up a little bit more though so your butt will go right on the chair. How does that feel? Yeah. the pressure on your limb though, but when you feel. Yeah. And get it to a spot where you're comfortable. Because I mean, we've all melt down, right? And we know that uncomfortable feeling when okay.
Yeah, but some of it's a range of motion thing too. I mean, getting all the way down to the chair level in your squat, like Scott said, it might be too far. So I mean, if just coming down this far, if you can feel that in the muscles that you're supposed to be using, you're still getting stronger. You're still building the right muscles. It's not about pushing, down past 90 or doing anything like that. We're not trying to make bodybuilders. We're trying to make you stronger for everyday activities. What kind of things are squats good for? We've talked a lot about stairs. I mean, squats, those are the same muscles that we use to climb upstairs. We talked about getting in and out of chairs all day long, same muscles.
Yep. Yeah, I tell people, like Nate was mentioning earlier, going from sitting to stand, when you tell people we're doing exercises, they say, well, I don't do squats. Well, do you think it's reasonable to assume that you might go from a sitting to a standing position 30 times a day? Well, that would be one. You start. But I mean, so if you weigh 150 pounds, like me, and you like are squatting or going from sit to stand 30 times a day, you're squatting 150 pounds 30 times. You got to think our leg muscles, our quadriceps, they're the biggest muscles in our body for a reason. I mean, every time you transfer your weight to either leg and you're in full weight bearing, you're carrying that, 230 pounds all on one leg, and that's supporting us. And how we fire those muscles, like we were talking about, we're relying. So that 7%, 8% of muscle atrophy during that inactivity period, it's huge. That's the biggest deficit that we're trying to overcome. So, and we kind of have things broken down, but when we say that whole first year, the strength training and balance, that's really the first key to getting the second year is more reacting to your environment, and then things start to become more natural, and we're not thinking about it. But we can't get there if we don't develop that strength and balance along the way.
Right. And so I guess kind of wrapping up, I know that we might be running a little bit late, but we don't have a step up if we don't have a small group activity, right? I mean, that's one of the things we always love to do. So I think to kind of conclude, what we'll do is we'll get into a nice big circle here. And we brought some balls. If you guys all remember the games where we just tossed the balls back and forth and everybody,
But what's the reason we're doing this? What's the exercise?
Well, when you're involved.
But so when we throw the ball, we have to transfer our weight over to the prosthetic side. We're constantly weight shifting. So yeah, these are the activities that people usually enjoy the most, but we get the most out of them because when we're having fun, we're not thinking of what we're doing and the strain we're putting on the muscles. But this is a very highly effective. So yeah, we want to get everybody in a circle. Ben. Oh. All right. Yeah. Here. Yeah, we should probably get the big one out of there. Yeah. Here. Somebody, give me that, will you, Casey? Because I see trouble in the future. Yeah, but it's yeah.
Yeah, I've had several patients that do.
I used to play on a league with my wife when I was. Yeah,
I've had to clean a lot of sand out of foot shells. A lot of sand out of foot shells.
Well, one of the
people that
first
played in beach volleyball
sports
leagues.
that I started playing was volleyball. And what's nice about court sports is like when you can't run longer distances, but you get a lot of that pivoting. And actually, I was doing that in sand, which at the time I didn't think about what a workout that was. But that's sand is a lot of fun.
Whoa!
Yeah. But tennis is another good one. You don't have a lot of area to cover, but you got to get there quick little bursts, and then you're changing where you're positioning your weight and then changing direction. All that stuff is great for, like we're talking about, how quickly we're trying to change how we contract the muscles inside of the socket.
Coming in hot. Right.
Hey, everybody launch it at Bill while he's holding the camera. 1, 2, 3, Bill. Everybody like grab a ball and fire them all at the same time.